It's an exciting time for women's sports, especially women's basketball. Millions are tuning in to witness the grit and dedication of female athletes. Finally, they're getting the recognition they deserve. But in recent years, there have been growing concerns about whether transgender athletes are taking opportunities away from female athletes, especially at the youth level. This year, Washington State crowned its first known transgender state champion in the 2A girls 400-meter run in Tacoma. And controversy quickly followed. So what exactly are the rules when it comes to transgender athletes in sports? Marissa Rio found out.
This isn't the type of video you'd expect to go viral. The Washington State 2A Girls Track Championships. But it's who wins the race, East Valley's Veronica Garcia, that sparked vitriol online. Veronica's transgender, and her victory was the boiling point for many who voiced their concerns on how this was allowed and considered to be fair competition.
So the rule regarding gender identity and competition has been in place for 18 years. So this is the 18th year we've actually had this rule. Most people don't realize that.
But they certainly realize it now. The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association, or WIAA, is the governing body for Washington State youth athletics. Its policy reads, all students should have the opportunity to participate in WIAA athletics and/or activities in a manner that is consistent with their gender identity. Simply put, if a student identifies as a girl, they can compete with the girls.
I have brought up the point each year when we have to renew a contract with the WIA that this is a concern of mine, that the WIA has put this in place to take away that equal right for women to compete.
The WIAA says it is actually preserving equal rights. In this gender toolkit, the WIAA policy says it follows both state and federal law. The federal law states that all persons should receive equal treatment no matter their gender identity or sexual orientation. Going even further, Title IX states that no person on the basis of sex shall be denied participation in or be subject to discrimination under any education program or activity that receives federal financial assistance.
Unlike the NCAA that requires transgender athletes to provide documentation of hormonal treatment, the WIAA executive director says student athletes do not need to disclose any medical treatment that they are receiving. Brianne Gray is on the Meade School Board, but says she's speaking for herself and not the whole board. She says the WIAA policy doesn't provide equality at all.
It's the exact opposite of that. There are biological differences that exist, and suggesting that women now have to give up their opportunity to compete in their own category, it's absurd.
Gray tells me many members in the community have also expressed their concerns, even more so after the recent track season completed.
We heard from grandparents, we heard from parents, we heard from people who don't even have kids in the district. We heard from people who don't have kids competing in athletics that were so concerned and so worried that this was happening to our young females.
We reached out to East Valley's athletic director and he declined an interview. But in a recent article by the Spokesman Review, the reporter had an opportunity to speak with Veronica Garcia regarding the controversy. They quoted her saying, "I'm just a teenager. I wish people would remember that." Garcia also told the spokesman she wishes those who think she should not be able to compete would take their complaints to those who make policy decisions rather than yelling at her.
There's very divergent views on such topics, especially this one in recent years. And so, yes, people will share their opinions. That's their right. We fully understand. And our attorneys continue to advise that we must follow state law.
As for the school districts that are grappling with how to handle this, Brianne Gray tells me she encourages those who are concerned to contact the WIAA office.
And let them know that people are not pleased that their daughters have worked so hard, that their granddaughters, their nieces that have worked so hard for this sport or this activity that they feel so passionate about, and they want to have the opportunity to participate on an equal playing field.
The WIAA says it will continue to adjust its policy as guidance evolves, but as of now, its policy does follow current law.
There are states that have banned transgender students from participating in the sport that is most consistent with their gender identity. Let's take Idaho, for example. In 2020, the state did put in place a ban, but there is currently an injunction blocking the enforcement of that ban. There are several other states with the same rules that are facing similar challenges. For more information on this topic, you can visit our website at kxly.com. In Spokane, Marissa Rio, 4 News Now.